Black History Month, right? For us to be able to understand why everything is happening today. A lot of us are not aware, are not of our past, and because we are not aware of our past, then we are doomed to repeat it. And that's always something that is going to continue to be shared and to be said. What we don't know what would they say? We perish for what we don't know. So we have books, we have access to books now. We are in a space where we are able to read and teach ourselves to read in our children, and we're not taking advantage of it. So many things that are a top of mind for me. So it was just, I was like, well, what's a good background? And I'm like, nothing but Mother Earth behind me, nothing but the trees.
That's
Um,
beautiful. That's a beautiful background. And thank you for just staying on top of all of this because Black history is important. I was thinking, oh my God, I only have Athenia for 30 minutes. Now I know why, because you're there. Oh my God, that's a lot. So thank you for still agreeing to do this for us today, with all that
yeah.
you have going on. We just love it. So I am home alone. I call that home alone when I don't have my team on with me. So I don't know if we turned live until Athenia came on. I
Oh
think
no.
live, but it's okay. I'm Debra Dixon-Anderson from Light of Gold PR and Gold Wellness Circle. If you like our content, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube. We have a lot going on. Instead of starting over, I will go over all that we have going on after we finish up with Athenia, and we'll just dive into this topic. So here is, it's Black History Month. I have to share this article that I shared with you. Whew, that article. So this article was in Tallahassee, actually, the Tallahassee schools, and it talked about. I never thought of Juneteenth or Black History Month or Women's History Month, for that matter. Any of these is identity holidays, but apparently that's what it's being called. And I'm just going to start. Before we dive into this, I'm just going to say, everyone, we're trying not to be political. We can agree to disagree, but don't come for us in our comments. All right. We've seen some really not so nice things put into our YouTube comments, our Facebook comments. We've experienced that doing this work, this important work for racial justice, for cultural awareness. It's important work. But if you don't agree, it's okay. We just can't become disagreeable. Right?
I
Athenia?
like that. Yeah, no, I definitely like that. We can't become disagreeable. There's so many people who want to impose their beliefs and their views. I don't impose my beliefs or my views on you. I'm purely sharing my information. If you don't agree
Yes,
with it, then go somewhere else. Like, you don't need to be in this space. No one's forcing you. So I'm
absolutely.
always saying that no one's forcing anyone to be in the space. If you don't like what you hear, you could always remove
That's
yourself.
right. That's right. So identity months are considered to be dead at DOD. And what that means, identity months are include Black History Month, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Juneteenth, LGBTQ Pride Month, Women's History Month, National Hispanic Heritage Month, National Disability Employment Awareness Month, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and other special observances. Those are considered identity months that will be that is being discussed to take it off the table, to not celebrate, especially for the people who work in federal government, city and state. They work
Mhm.
on these holidays as part of their job. So think about that part. Is they've been doing it for
Yep.
years, and then now they're not doing
That's
it
cool.
anymore. Yeah.
They are told you better not plan nothing. Don't allocate any funding towards this day. Everyone, this is well, I did not see because it is still considered they are federal holidays. They are
Yes.
written into the books as federal holidays. If
Yes.
they will be allowed not to take them off
Right.
as
Right.
it has been in the past. So that is definitely going to be the question at hand. That's going to be next.
Yes.
I was told that um, I've done research, and my question was definitely around, can they revoke a holiday that they've made a federal holiday? And
Yes.
so just to kind of put some, I guess, color around it, there
Mm-hmm.
has been holidays in the past, like Columbus Day or
Mm-hmm.
President's Day, that they have tried to remove, but they were made to be federal holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what was said was that it takes too much work in order to remove it as a federal holiday. So what they
Yeah.
will do is rename it, which is what
Yeah.
they did. Columbus Day is now what is it? Why am I drawing a blank? It's called
I'm gonna Google it while you're looking because I remember they did change it.
Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm like, why can't get that?
Yeah.
So Columbus Day is called Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yes.
President's Day is actually the correct day. What I was saying before was
Yes.
um, it was another president's day. Anyway, so it was one of the presidents. It was supposed to be his birthday, his celebration, and they made it now to President's Week. So
Yes.
that's like a week in January where they take off. So that's kind of what they have done in the past in order to circumvent or to get around it. So
Right.
I presume that's what they're going to try to do with all of our holidays. So it definitely behooves us now more than ever to band together.
Yes.
Um, I've
Yes.
also, and I think I had shared with you, I've been studying the book of Revelations and just really thinking about like what all of those things mean, like Armageddon and the mark of the beast, and how to survive it. Like, how do we survive being in this space? And I use my chat GPT and I'm like, hey, chat GPT, what would happen? What do we do to survive, all of the things that it says in the Bible? And it's like to go off the grid. And what
Mm.
does going off the grid mean? And again, just taking it back to our ancestors, taking it back to people um, um, like all of our ancestors that came from before us, those that were in slavery, those who continue
Yes.
to pave the way for us.
Absolutely.
They did things through bartering. They did things through partnerships and collaboration. When
Absolutely.
one person was the cook for everybody, one person was in the field bringing food back
That's right.
to the person who was cooking. One person was the one who was making sure everybody's clothes and stuff was mended and put together.
That's
Another person was taking care of all the kids while everybody else was out in the field.
yeah.
Literally, it was you had your baby, you dropped it off and gave it to the mom,
Mhm.
to the mama, and
Yeah.
everybody went back to work the next day. There was no, staying home for a couple of days, taking your baby to breastfeed and do all of that stuff. Like those are all of the things that were happening. So just thinking about that, right? Putting
Yeah.
that into perspective into the
Yes.
future, the day and age in which we live. We sit there and we look at some of these movies, like the Terminator 2, and how they looked in the future, where people were above ground and they're fighting and they're doing all these things, and then there were these people who were underground. And to be honest with you, that is the space and where we're going to need to be so that we can understand how to operate. So
Yeah.
we need to go back to some of the things that we used to do, learning how to sew. A lot of us don't know how to do that anymore. I've been teaching my kids how to do that to bring that back. Learning how to make our own food, how to cut our own food, how to kill our own food,
Yeah.
protecting our arms, like all of those things. Like we're all so in our, oh, I'm not trying to get a gun. I don't want to be around a gun. But guess
Right.
what? If we don't have those things, then how are we protecting ourselves?
Right.
How we getting back to the space? And a couple of weeks ago, I had we do our lunch and learns for Juneteenth on Thursdays from 12 to 1, and I had Kelly on, one of our board members, and she was talking about her whole goal of her business is getting back to Black Wall Street. And I'm
Yes.
like, that's a great idea. I think we
It
definitely should,
is.
especially with everything that's going on with DEI right
Absolutely.
now, with Target and Walmart being at the helm of rolling back their support to Black businesses. What does
Yes.
that look like for us? So
Yeah.
I said, so my biggest fear with creating another Black Wall Street is
Right.
that they're going to do what they did last time. They're going to burn it down or they're going to flood it.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. And
How
you
do we
know what?
protect it?
And you know what? Here's the thing, a thing I don't think anybody else is looking at, but some of us are, is when
Hmm.
you erase history and act like it didn't happen, it is doomed to repeat. It
Yeah,
is, we are already experienced that. It's
yeah,
like history is the history. I don't remember a time when I wasn't celebrating Black History Month. So the thought
absolutely.
of celebrating it just seems very strange and odd to me. The fact I don't believe it should be canceled, and we don't have to allow it to be canceled in our communities.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is why it's so important to have history, to have books, to share the history that we have, which is a wonderful history. It's
Mhm.
amazing the resilience, that Black people have. It does not matter what boat you came in on. Some people say, I'm not Black, I'm Caribbean. Okay, we at the core, we're all Black, right? So it's like, it doesn't matter what boat you came in on, but we are survivors and we've survived so much. And when we look back to see how well Black people did with less resources than we have today is pretty amazing. It's pretty
Ab-
amazing.
Absolutely. And I do want to take it back to what you were saying about this whole idea. Um, what I've read, and again, everything I feel like is really not speculation, but it's definitely moving in a very fast pace.
Yes,
Since
it is. Yes.
um, the president went into to office, every day I feel like I wake up and I'm like clutching my pearls, like what is it going to be today
Yeah.
that we're going to hear?
Mhm.
And I really can't give it that kind of energy,
Yeah,
because I feel
absolutely.
like they're forcing us, they're encouraging us, they're putting in our minds that we need to be operating in fear.
Right.
And the
Absolutely.
only way for us to be able to maneuver this is with strategy.
Yeah.
And like
And
you said, I think.
strategic,
Hmm.
yes. And getting along. A
Hmm.
lot of times you run into people who, well, I don't really like working with people. I don't, I'd like to keep to myself. And you know what? I've seen, being from the Bronx, you're from Brooklyn. Have you heard about those people who would be in their apartment dead for 10? It's a ugly discussion, but it's true, because they didn't like to be around people. They didn't talk to anybody. But when you need someone, who better than your next door neighbor? I can't even tell you how my mom's neighbors have come to her aid so many times and saved me a trip from New York to the Bronx, from New
Hmm.
Jersey to the Bronx. We need each other. We have
We
to
do.
learn how to play nice with each other. And we should be able to do that. We are so much more together collectively than we are apart. And
Absolutely.
I think if that's a lesson that we didn't learn before, we definitely need to learn it now. So
I totally agree. I mean, and just thinking, sorry for the background, I'm just thinking about everything and sorry to take this back into biblical, but that's just the space that I've been in.
absolutely.
Um, but at the very beginning, when God created everything that He created, He said it was good. It
Mhm.
wasn't until He got to Adam that He
Mhm.
said it wasn't good.
Right.
That He needed to make him a helpmate.
Yeah.
So what that really meant is that we don't grow in isolation. We have
Yes.
to grow in community. So even God realized His own, can't say mistake, but His own idea initially for what was to be, and said that we need to be in community in order for us to grow.
We need.
So
Mhm.
if even if it says it in that space, then how do you grow in isolation? How do that's where the devil comes. That's where the devil will tell you stories about who you think you are, and confidence. I've been doing a lot of calls for my coaching business about confidence, because
Yeah.
I'm like, I see it in you. You have it within you. You can do it. You've done it. You have it,
Exactly.
but you
But you
need
gotta
somebody to
believe
tell
in
you
yourself.
that you can
Yeah.
do it.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and oftentimes we don't believe we can do certain things, and we can. We
Yeah.
can. And it all starts with you, with that mindset adjustment where you realize, yes, I can do this. Because how do you go out into the world and you don't even believe in yourself? You
Yeah.
don't even believe in yourself. You don't believe in that person that you look at in the mirror every day. And so that's really critical that we believe in ourselves. So I want to go over some interesting Black history facts. So we know
Sure.
that the civil rights movement, happened. Martin Luther King did some amazing things. God bless him. And then Rosa Parks, right? Her
Mhm.
birthday was yesterday.
Yesterday, yes, it was.
It was her birthday.
Happy birthday, Rosa Parks.
Birthday, Rosa Parks. But what I did not know, and I just learned this today, I've heard of Claudette Colvin, but
Yes.
did not realize that she actually was the one that wouldn't get up.
Right.
For
She
other,
was the first one
she was the first one
who
months before Rosa Parks, and we
did,
don't
correct.
forget about her.
Yeah,
Yes,
we do. We definitely do forget about her. I mean, she's one of the people that I have definitely highlighted on in Juneteenth
yeah,
a couple of times because it does take someone to start the battle, and she was truly the one who had done it, and she was tired and wasn't able to get up,
yeah,
and I think she was pregnant,
yeah,
if I
yes,
remember correctly, that she was pregnant,
mm,
and she was also young, and they did not feel like that was the strategic. They made a strategic decision to
mm-hmm,
have someone from the NAACP take
mm-hmm,
on that role, and
yeah,
that's where Rosa Parks filled
yeah,
the space. So
right,
Rosa Parks was the one who had gotten arrested and who had taken on that lead and everything, but there was someone before her that doesn't necessarily get the recognition, and all too often that happens in the black community, and
yeah,
not to say that that was intentional,
right,
because the intent was really to take it off of her. They did not want her to reap the repercussions
yeah,
of what might happen,
right.
because
She
back
was
then they were killing us. Yeah, they were killing us.
they
Like they were doing they would put a dog on us. They would put a
yeah,
hose on us in a heartbeat,
yeah,
and
right. They would
that
still hang
wasn't
us
something.
too. All of that.
Exactly.
It's just incredible everything that we withstood, to be where we are. And all we have to think about is looking around at each other, all the people when we were captured a long time ago, all the people that stayed in the boat and endured. We're the descendants of those people. They
Yeah.
stayed in the boat. They didn't jump out. They didn't commit suicide. They stayed in the boat. We're descendants of those people. So how can you say we're not a strong people? That
Yeah.
we accomplish anything? And they would withstood so
So
much,
much.
so much. I mean, we stand on their shoulders for sure.
Amen.
Yeah, we stand on their shoulders. So I love talking about God. I'm a Christian too. So I think some of this has some biblical references, some of what we're dealing with today.
Yeah.
I did kind of want to also talk a little bit about um, like what do we need to do to learn and continue the significance of all of our holidays. Like for instance, I love museums, and our
Hmm.
Black museums are gems. They're jewels in our neighborhoods, in different areas. Documentaries, books. How do we keep that alive? My biggest thing for me with my nieces and nephews, because I'm an auntie mom. I'm not a mom,
Hmm.
but I'm an auntie mom, not just to my in my family that I'm connected to by blood, but people that I've
All
lived.
your friends and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a village, right? So
Indeed.
I make it a point to share, what I know my mother went through, my dad went through, family members decades and decades ago, and what they went through to get to a certain point, and how I was afforded, to be able to go to college, to be the first person to graduate from college in my family. That one single mom that's just trying to come up with her monies to put me through Catholic high schools and all of that stuff. We
Hmm.
stand on the shoulders of our ancestors, our family members, our parents, our grandparents, and we have to keep verbally sharing that history with
Story.
generations to come after. That's just like a small way in our own communities that we could just keep the legacy going. But can you think of any other types of things?
I could definitely. So one has definitely been the circulating the black dollar,
Mm,
and I know we talk about it a lot. And right now, more than ever, it's going to be paramount that we circulate our monies internally to keep
yes.
some of those things alive, because a lot of these organizations and what you're talking about, a lot of the museums, a lot of the nonprofit organizations, they were
Mhm.
getting federal funding to
Yes.
run their operations. And now with this DEI initiative rollback,
Hmm.
funding has been cut, and they have been explicitly told that they cannot use money towards these organizations that have these
Hmm.
focuses. I was in a call yesterday with a number of arts organizations that focus on Black communities and Black art and in the whole diaspora.
Hmm.
And
Yes.
we were literally in the conversation talking about how we need to strategize to change some of our language and
Yeah.
our missions and our visions and
Yeah.
our grant proposals
Yep.
so that we can be in alignment so that we don't get cut off from funding. And some people were like, but then I'm not being true to my
Yeah.
business and why I
Yes.
created it.
Yes.
So there are going to be people who are going to have, I mean, for us, Juneteenth, like everything that we're about is about our culture and amplifying our culture. How can
Yes.
I say that that is not something that is going to be relevant to DEI? That's
Yes.
going to be difficult for someone like me to be able to do. I can say, and which we have said, how we are contributors to what has made America great because we are. If it was not for us and all of the things that our ancestors have done to date, then a lot of the things that we are afforded today, from the elevator to the refrigerator to an iron to
Mhm.
things that make
Yeah.
life easy for us, for the filament that goes inside the light bulb that makes it work, like
Yeah.
all of these things were created by African American people. And so even if it's $5, if you know of an organization that is doing work that if you can contribute $20 total and
Yeah.
find four organizations that you can give $5 to each
Hmm.
month, that will go a long way because there are billions of us that are
Yeah.
out here, and not just the African American community. Because as you just said, we're not the only ones being affected.
Yeah.
Women,
That's right.
which means white women,
Yes.
LGBTQIA community, which
Right.
encompasses men as well
Yes.
in that
That's
diaspora. We
right. Hmm.
have the Jewish community that is included in that.
Sure.
We have people with disabilities that also are people that are not of color, that
Yes.
are in that
Right.
as well. So there are so many different areas in which we can contribute our funding to.
Yes.
So think
Yes.
about it, pray about it, and just figure out where you can contribute. But that would
Right.
definitely be my first. Second is we got to show up. We got to
Yeah.
show up
Show up.
to these spaces, be intentional. I try to take my kids, like you were just saying, as far as being an auntie, I try to take my kids and my kids' friends with me when I go to a museum or when I go to something
Mhm.
that I know is going to be cultural. We just had Kwanzaa where we were doing celebrations, and we are doing that. It's Black History Month, and I'm here in Georgia. There is a exhibit that's going to be at the mall at Lenox Mall,
Mhm.
where a Black artist has all of his stuff that we're going to be going to go celebrate and to go support them. So we have the Black Wall Street that out here. It's a whole mall with a bunch of Black businesses. So
Yeah.
there are things that are happening that are being put together for
Yeah.
us, by us,
By
but
us.
we're not supporting it. We're not going to it. We're not. No, we're not. We'll rather show up to Target and
Yeah.
show up to Walmart and give them our money. But they've already told us blatantly to our face that they don't need it.
Yeah, exactly. And you can go to everybody who's watching, you can go to juneteenthny.com and there's a donation button you could click
Right at
right
the top.
there and you
Mhm.
can donate to this cause. Go wellnesscircle.com has a donation button because a lot of the causes that Go Wellness Circle is passionate about impacts Black and Brown communities at a higher point than any other community. So making sure that you're supporting organizations that are supporting these causes is going to be really important. So I just before Athena, I'm checking your time, girl, because I know you don't have much time. So
Yeah,
it's
I,
about
I,
yes,
I got about 5 more minutes, but I did want to say to think about this. If everyone can just really take some time and write out what life looks like without culture.
that's right.
What
Very
would
well
life
planned.
look like without culture. We
Yes,
just had the Emmys on Sunday,
yes.
and music,
This
all of the music,
Grammys. Yeah.
the Grammys. Yeah, sorry, the
Yes,
Grammys on Sunday.
mhm.
Think about that. If we were not present in these spaces,
Yeah.
what would that look like?
That's what would it look like? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, we're targeted to be a race, but then think about what it would look like if we were.
Mhm.
So that's such a good point, Athena. I love that point. So uh, Athena Rodney is the executive director of Juneteenth NYC.
Mhm.
Wonderful celebration in Brooklyn that's coming up from June 12th through the 19th. I'm on her board. We have a wonderful board. We work very hard to put these events together. And trust me, it's a different time now. So we do need your support. We do need you to show up. And then on Friday, March 21st, another holiday that's on the chopping block is Women's History Month. So we're and she's one of my partners for that, and we need you to show up for that as well. It's going to be Friday, March 21st, right in Midtown at West 39th Street. You could go to lightofgoldpr.com, go to more, and then go. We have a landing page for the 2025 Gold Women's Business Conference. So we need your support. We're trying to support all of these communities with good programming, good, strong programming. So it's not just about hosting this celebration. Every time you go to a Juneteenth event, you got stuff for the kids. You have the fashion shows. Throughout the whole time, we have the Black Kings Award celebrating our Black Kings. It's so much going on between the marching bands, the parade. I mean, it is truly a celebration. At the events that we're working on a larger scale, Juneteenth has vendor opportunities. So does Gold Well. So does our Gold Women's Business Conference. So just make sure you're checking out our links and our websites to see what we have going on and support us. You know, whether it's a sponsorship, a donation, or coming to the event, sharing our events. If you follow us at Juneteenth NY, I think, and on Instagram, is that right?
Yep,
And
Juneteenth on Instagram. Hmm.
Instagram, on everything. And then if you follow at Light of Gold PR, pretty much on everything, it's at Light of Gold PR Marketing on Instagram, but everything else, it's at Light of Gold PR. And just please support us and at Gold Wellness Circle. And you can be part of, you know, partnering with us, participating, attending, you know, all that we have going on, but donating, because now we're going to have to start relying on our own communities to support us because things are changing. Funding is being cut, all of that. Now we have to be real creative about how we stay alive now. And partnership also is the order of the day. We have to remember that
Yeah,
being aligned, there are ways a team and a community working together for the same cause is important because now you have more hands and more feet, and we're
absolutely.
all helping and supporting each other. So we need you guys to show up for us. We also have virtual programming. There's a virtual summit. Our women's business conference is going to have a virtual component to it as well. So for those of you around the country, you can still participate in everything that we have going on. So don't make it seem like, well, that's in New York or that's here. No, 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 no. You can still support us. Even if you can't come, support, just be down for the cause. But you can still participate because we also have virtual programming as well. Yeah.
Very much so. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Deborah, for
you.
having me. It was definitely a pleasure, and I look forward to connecting with you all in some
Yes.
form or fashion. And today is Wednesday, so tomorrow, like I said, we have our lunch and learn
Yeah.
at 12 o'clock
For that.
on our YouTube channel. So definitely follow us. We're going to be
Yeah.
talking about Harriet Tubman tomorrow and her story. And
Mm-hmm.
we're also going to be releasing a new community or a tribe that we are building out. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
hope that you can join us. All right, then.
Yes. Thank
Thanks,
you.
love. Have a
Bye.
good one.
Take care. Have a good one.
All
Bye.
right.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right, everybody. So I'm staying on for a little bit just to continue the conversation and talk about just the huge importance for Black History Month, just to participate in going to the museum, participating in these events. Athenia and I have also co-hosted a fantastic Kwanzaa event. So we do a lot of cultural events. And I also do a lot of women events. Don't worry, guys. I still have co-ed networking events for our guys because they're always coming up to me saying, hey, Deb, do you not have anything that include men? We do. So I want you to know that we do have some networking events coming up, but our events have turned into being in person as well as being virtual. And we want you to reach out to us about partnering, about working with us, about getting a vendor table, about sponsoring our events because they're really great events. So I'm going to go back to, because I don't think I was live at the time, what we have going on. So we do have our coaching and mentorship programs. I'm probably going to get Athenia back on. Maybe we could do a masterclass about sponsorship and partnership and how does that work? You know, we need to be able to learn how to do that. We have all different price packages. Our Gold Ignite is $100 off, only $197. So you definitely want to see if there's anything on the goldbusinessconnect.com website that strikes your fancy that you can go ahead and if you need help and want to be part of a community and want to be trained by experts and not feel like you're working alone, then you should come be part of our community. Our bookkeeping session was really good. If you go to lightofgoldpr.com and you go to our store, you'll see that you could purchase help with bookkeeping. We're going into tax season, y'all. I know it's a tough time. Go ahead, book a session with Cassandra Smith. Go to our replay on YouTube and you can see we talked about a lot of great tips on how you can get your books together. And if you need one-on-one help or customized help, you could definitely go ahead and book some time, purchase some time, and we could definitely help you out. Our Gold Women's Wellness Empowerment Retreat, we've extended the time for the deposit until Saturday, only $150 down to be able to come with us to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic in October, from October 22nd until October 26th. It's going to be Zumba, meditation, yoga, semi-private dinner, breathtaking views, a lot of dancing and having fun. So you can go to GoWellnessCircle.com and go to our events page and you can find out more about this. You can pay for your deposit right there. Or if you want, just feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, okay? We definitely want you to reach out to us if you have questions on anything. Let's see, next. We have the full branding website packages. When we did our masterclass with Katani Ray, it was awesome last week. So we created some really good packages so you could zero in on your brand strategy. You get 2 experts for the price of 1. So it's pretty huge, you know, whether it's full brand marketing strategy, foundational stuff that you need for your brand, we got you covered. Content, website, to be able to get a website and everything with your logo, content, and website for $9.97 is a good deal. So you definitely want to consider that. And then last but not least, we have our women's event coming up. That's going to be on March 21st. That's a Friday, right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan in Bryant Park, at the J Conference Center. That's the location. We won't be in the park. But we'll be at the J Conference Center at 109 West 39th Street and 6th Avenue. And just come and spend the day with us. Bring it back to school because we're going to be talking about SEO, marketing, funding, all of that kind of stuff up close and personal in your face. So you want to come to this event from 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. But we're also going to have a virtual component, virtual goodie bags and in-person goodie bags. This is the 13th annual Gold Women's Business Conference. It's always a great event. And we have people who have been going to this for years. And we feed you too. So I'm big. I lived in Atlanta for a number of years. I don't believe in having an event without some kind of food. So you get your breakfast, snacks, and lunch, and only for our early bird special of only $149. Now, if you're connected to us in any of our communities, we'll knock off an extra $10 or $15 for you to come. But it's going to be a good event. if you follow us, you'll see that a lot of our images will start changing. We'll include the speakers, the fabulous experts that will be speaking to you at this event. You definitely want to participate. Last but not least, Juneteenth, 16th annual Juneteenth NYC. This is one of the biggest Juneteenth celebrations in New York City. We always get invited to Gracie Mansion, to the Mayor's Ball. We are partnering with the city. We partner with all the different communities around Brooklyn. This is a big, big thing. I'm on the board and I'm a proud member of the board, but Light of Gold PR is also a proud event partner with Juneteenth NYC. From June 12th to the 19th, we're going to have a block of booths. Come on, if you're interested, there's a virtual component. If you want to share booths with Gold Business Connect, you could do that. That event is going to be great. The main event is usually on a Saturday, which I believe would be, I'll check to see what day that would be. It's either going to be the 12th or the 19th. Let me just check and I'll let you know. But that event is amazing. I mean, everything between the parades, it's just it's just so much going on. The marching bands, the whole thing is just very, very powerful. And I'm so glad to have been a friend and partner with Athenia Rodney for all these years. It's been about 15 years now. And we have worked together. She's hired my firm to help her with branding, with community partnerships, all of that kind of stuff. So looks like, let's see, Saturday, looks like the 14th, the 21st, June 21st is the longest day. We have our Alzheimer's fundraiser, but if you go to JuneteenthNY.com, you can find out more. So I'm going to end by sharing and talking about, and I'm sorry, everyone, I'm home alone. My tech team is sick, so I'm kind of navigating everything by myself. If I didn't have any tech chops, I would be in trouble. So thankfully, I can navigate some of this on my own. I'm looking over at the comments. I don't see any comments, so I guess we're good. And feel free to comment if you want. You can drop a comment. I'll hang out for another 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm going to hop off. But what I want to share with you as we close out is, how do you protect your peace? And we'll do a fuller Wellness Wednesday about protecting your peace. A lot of us are extremely anxious, are extremely stressed out for whatever reasons. It doesn't have to necessarily be politically motivated, but it could be motivated in other areas of your life. I don't know. But if you are stressed out, it's really important to, number one, reduce looking at the news, checking your phone, your social media all the time. You have to reduce that, because that alone will just keep you on edge. Knowing when you have a sleep ritual. My friend Tony Smith, who's going to be joining us for meditation on one of the Wellness Wednesdays in February, he always talks about having a sleep ritual. What's a sleep ritual? You got to put your phone, or phones in my case, put it down at least an hour or two before you get ready to go to sleep. And because you stay stimulated when you're constantly looking at the phone, with the light from your phone is on. So you got to know when to shut it down. And I'm talking to myself. That's something that I have to get better at. Just stepping away and having a sleep ritual. Of course, you know, trying to eat right, reducing the sugar, reducing the salt is really important. Exercise can make you feel good. I feel great when I'm doing Zumba, when I'm walking. I know it's cold in the Northeast. When we get those 40 and 50 degree days, which is like kind of like a balmy summer day for us, you know, that's better than our 8-degree days and 19-degree days, I will walk. I will walk with my friends, the Feisties, you know, and just breathe in the air and be out in nature, walk around the park. So walking, yoga, spin, whatever you could do to exercise, whether it's at home. I'm part of some wonderful communities that I love, and they keep me inspired. They keep me going. So making sure you're exercising and find a way to do some kind of exercise, some kind of movement. It's good for your heart. It's good for your mind. It's good for your soul and your spirit. So make sure you're getting some kind of exercise and movement in. That's really important. Whether it's prayer or meditation, making sure you're connecting to your breath. Deep breath in, blow it out. Make sure you are meditating, praying, clearing your brain, doing as much of that as possible. But that's how we have to learn how to protect our peace these days. And you have to go all the way in. Now, what we have to do is extreme self care, not just self care, extreme self care is going to be the order of the day right now. And so making sure you're protecting your peace, being careful about toxic situations. Sometimes we're related to them. Sometimes it's good friends. Backing away from certain conversations that you know that you're going to disagree about. As business people, sometimes we have to be careful about not sharing too much with people who are negative, who aren't rooting for us. Now, it might be a small community of folks that we can align with, and we're just rooting each other on, but that's okay, because sometimes that small community will give you life. It could just be 1 or 2 people, 3 people. They will feed you, they will support you, they will feed your spirit. So make sure that you're being careful about being around too many toxic people, people that are negative, disagreeable, and be careful about what you share with them. A lot of times, when it's a conversation that you really shouldn't have gotten into. So just kind of be mindful of backing away or not sharing those types of things. Black History Month is still important. So find a way to celebrate it, and you don't have to be Black. We're part of a huge tapestry, okay? So I wanted to share this statistic that Black Americans, 76%, according to this college group study, celebrate Black History Month, 76% of Black Americans, but the overall American population, 26% celebrate Black History Month. Many Black Americans consider the month important to their community. I certainly do. So if you feel that way and you love to celebrate all different types of people and you know the importance of it, please go ahead and celebrate it. If you have friends that maybe you're not a person of color and you have friends of color, or you have coworkers, or you go to church with certain people, neighbors, don't be afraid of asking them, hey, you want to go to a museum together? I love Black History Month. Maybe you have children, maybe you have biracial children. I don't know. A lot of our families are connected now racially. We're not all like 100% Black, and none of us are, because African Americans are mixed with so many different cultures. A lot of times our families are blended, and we are blended anyway when we live close to each other, work with each other, and we care about each other. So don't be afraid of going to celebrate an activity together and going someplace together where you could celebrate together, whether it's a museum, an outing, maybe it's an event that's happening somewhere. Don't be afraid to do that and to ask that and to celebrate together. It's still not just Black History Month, but all these holidays are important, regardless of how you identify, because it's how we celebrate our rich tapestry, our rich culture. And that's all cultures. It's a beautiful thing. So as I roll off, our next week, we're going to be having Casey Carpenter as our guest on Marketing Monday. And we're going to talk about leadership and the importance of integrating meditation and having some kind of care practice into your life. I'll talk a little bit about mindset, but integrating that into your life. And then I'll be sharing the flyers and images and stuff, so you'll see it. If you follow me on @LightOfGoldPR, on everything, on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, all of it. The only place that's Light of Gold PR Marketing is on Instagram. And so you can follow me there and you'll see all the flyers. Join our list, go to lightofgoldpr.com, go to our contact page, and go ahead and say, hey, listen, I want to find out how I can partner with you, how I can find out more about what you're doing. We're going to put lightofgoldpr.com in the comments. Feel free to go ahead and connect with us, because we have a lot going on. And we would love to connect you to the resources that you need. And I'm sure we all could use some resources. At our women's event on Friday, March 21st, we're going to be talking about funding. Where do you go for funding? How do you fill out those applications? We're going to be educating people on how to do that and talking about that in real time. So that's going to be something that you want to stay connected to us. You want to do that. So go wellnesscircle.com for our wellness programming, our women's wellness retreat that's coming up in October, and then of course our women's event. And in between, we're going to do some regular speed networking events that will be co-ed. So I just want the guys to realize that I haven't forgotten about you. So we're going to be doing that as well. Thank you so much for staying with us on this Wellness Wednesday as we talk about the importance of Black history and why it's still relevant, why it's still important. If you like this information, if you like our content, please go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube, follow us, and you'll see the alerts about all of our upcoming program. We're trying to get better about scheduling our programming a month ahead because we have a small team. It's a team of about 4 of us. And so we're running on all cylinders, taking care of our clients and then putting together this important programming. We will be having some more master classes and workshops. We will be putting it up on our websites and also sharing on social media and all the groups that I'm connected to, my WhatsApp groups for my women's travel group, all of my business besties on Telegram. I'm connected to a lot of different groups. So I will definitely be connecting. Feel free to reach out. Let's go ahead and get things going. Happy Black History Month. Make sure you have a wonderful and blessed day. Take care. Bye-bye.